Get ready for quick and easy DIY home decor that'll give you that beautiful high-end look you're looking for, but at a price that anyone can afford. And as always, DIY treats. Welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. Hi guys, it's Aneka and welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. So today I have some DIYs that are just really making me happy. I have some Ikea hacks for you that I really love and that I cannot wait to put up in my home. But the great thing about them is that I got a lot of these items from Ikea, but I think most of them can just be thrift flips. So if you go to your favorite thrift store, I think you can find items that will fit right into these DIYs and you can make some really beautiful high-end decor for your home. So I really hope you enjoy it. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Everyone hit that notification bell so you'll be ready when my next video comes out. And when it's over, head down to the comments and let me know which DIY was your favorite, or of course, as always, you can just say hi. And I don't always say this, but make sure to stay around to the end because I have a treat at the end of this video and it is one of my favorites and it's already gone from my house. Like I made it this afternoon, I'm recording this evening, and this stuff is already gone. So make sure you stay around to the very end so you can see this delicious IKEA inspired DIY treat. Also, don't forget to find me on all my social media platforms. Show me what you've been working on, what you're crafting, what you're creating. I would love to see it. Okay guys, it's time to craft. For the first DIY, we are going to be using this IKEA Marius stool. Now this comes in black and it also comes in white. I actually grabbed one of each and I'm going to be decorating them both a little bit differently. First, I'm going to start out with the black one and I'm just going to mark off a mark at 1 inch and 6 inches. So I have about a 5-inch space in between. Now, I love to have a lot of natural elements in my home. One of the things I love is twine. So I'm just going to use some hot glue to very quickly and very easily wrap some twine around the legs of my stool. I think this just gave it a nice design element and also helped to bring in some of those browns and natural fibers that I love so much in my home decor. Once I'm done wrapping, I'm just going to use another little dab of hot glue to hold it on there, and I'm just going to snip off the end. Now, if your end is standing up, you can just put a little bit of hot glue, wait a moment or two for it to cool down, and then smooth it down, and that'll give you a nice smooth edge. Next, I'm just going to assemble the stool, and this was really easy to do, you guys, but let me give you a little tip. What I'm doing here with putting the two pieces of the legs together, I would recommend you do this very loosely. Don't tighten that bolt just yet. Get it on the top of the stand and then tighten everything up. I tightened mine and I couldn't get it loose and it wasn't exactly at the angle that it needed to be. So I struggled a little bit to get it on there, but if you just tighten everything at the end, you should be good to go. Once I have everything together, I'm ready to flip it over, and already just by adding this tiny little design element, this stool looks like it fits right into my home. Next, I'm going to take one of the baskets that they have at Ikea. I'm not even going to attempt to say the name of it, but there are so many baskets they have there. I chose this one because it pulls out and it can be taller, or I can keep it short. I like the versatility of that because as a new plant mom, I'm buying new plants every day and I'm not sure what size I'm going to need. Now, because I have little ones running around all over my house, I'm going to actually secure my basket to my stool with some zip ties. This way, if anyone bumps it or anything, it's much less likely to fall over. So I chose this stool because it has holes in it so that I can go ahead and just put my zip ties through the weave of the basket, weave it through one of the holes in the top of the stool, back through the top, and then back into my basket. I did this around a few times inside the basket, and then I had a beautiful plant stand that's all one piece. Now, I could also recommend going to a thrift store and finding a huge basket that actually goes all the way to the end of this stand. That way it'll look like one continuous piece instead of just a basket sitting on top of a table. I like both looks, and since I bought multiple stands, I'll be doing it both ways in my home. Now here's another idea that you can do. For this one, I went ahead and used the white stand. I taped it off at about 5 inches tall, and then I used gold acrylic paint to just paint the bottom of the legs. Now I love the color block look that this gave it. It looks kind of boho farmhouse or more of a boho look, which fits perfectly into my home, and I like that extra little bit of glam that it gave it. So I just want to pause for a moment and give a special shout out to Barbie, who's just chilling right there under the cabinet. I like to call this look toddler chic. I didn't even notice she was there until I started editing. So yeah, toddlers. Now for this one, I just kept the basket low and I put my pothos in it, which is looking healthy and growing. And I'm hoping that the leaves just kind of grow over the side of the basket and start to fill it out. I think it'll be really beautiful this way. You guys, I love how that DIY came out. I got those tables from Ikea, but I plan to go to my local thrift shop, find some more, and make some more plant stands all over my house, because that is going to help me with one of my New Year's resolutions, which is to keep all of my plant babies alive and thriving. So my resolutions this year are to learn 3 new things, to keep my plants alive and looking good, and to just generally have more fun. So I want to tell you guys about the sponsor for today's video, which is going to help me do all 3. Let me tell you a little bit about Skillshare. Skillshare is a platform that I am just really excited to be using this year. There are so many ways to grow your creativity, to learn new skills, and to just generally have fun learning about the world around you. Now, they have classes on photography, they have classes on calligraphy. Anything you can think of, you can learn it on Skillshare. And one thing that I really like about it is that the lessons are broken down into really manageable bits. I've never looked at something and thought, wow, I don't have the time to do this or the time to practice. Every single class that I've looked at on Skillshare has given me the confidence that I can really learn how to do this. Besides being extremely knowledgeable in their fields, the teachers have big personalities and just keep me engaged all the way through the lesson. Now, this year I'm looking to know more about plants, so I'll be taking some of these beginner courses on just putting plants into your space, making them beautiful, keeping them alive and healthy. But if you take a look at Skillshare, I'm sure you can find something that is just right for you. At only $10 a month for the yearly subscription, Skillshare is extremely affordable. Plus, the first 1,000 people to use my link in the description box below will get a free trial of the premium membership. So be sure to go and check out Skillshare. Okay, now for our next DIY, I'm going to be using this set of baskets that I got from Ikea. I love these baskets. They're very affordable and there's 3 of them. It's like a 3 for 1, which really makes me happy whenever I feel like I got a good deal. So I'm just going to disassemble the string that's holding these baskets together, and I'm going to use these to make a wall hanging. So I'm very simply going to grab some greenery, put it inside of each basket, and that's all there is to it. It looks beautiful as it is. So to create my wall hanging, I'll be using all 3 baskets with some greenery in it, and I'll also be using the lids to the baskets to put in my grouping on the wall. Now, I'm using some of these Velcro command strips to hang them on the wall, and I did also end up using just some command hooks because there's a tiny little hole right in the middle of the basket, which makes it really easy to just pop a hook through and hang it on my wall. I am so in love with these. I think I might actually go back and get another set so that I can make this display even bigger, and I love that I can change out the greenery throughout the year to fit whatever season it is. Now, for my third DIY IKEA hack, I'm going to be using this embroidery hoop I got from Walmart for only about 99 cents, I believe. And I'm going to make a lampshade inspired by a huge light fixture that I saw on a DIY channel called Araceli Chen. I'll be sure to link her video down in the description box. Definitely go take a look at it. It is super impressive. Now, to make this, I'm going to go ahead and take the hardware off of my embroidery hoop. I would recommend using pliers for this, but I could not find my pliers, so I just pried it off very carefully with my flathead screwdriver. Now, you want to make sure that you do this very carefully so that you don't split the bamboo on your hoops. Once I have my two hoops, I'm going to go ahead and grab some craft sticks. These just came from Walmart. They also have them at Dollar Tree, so making this a really affordable DIY. Now, I want this to be two complete circles, so I'm going to go ahead and just put some hot glue onto my embroidery hoop to keep it closed. And I would actually recommend using wood glue for this. I'm using hot glue for the sake of the video, but this will be even more stable if you go ahead and use a wood glue or some other type of adhesive to complete your project. Once I have my two hoops, I'm ready to get going on building it. Now, I'm going to take my craft sticks, and the first set I am going to cut to about 3.5 inches. Now, you are going to have to decide the length that you want yours to be. I am using a lamp from Ikea, and I thought this was a good scale, but if you are using a lamp you already have, or if you're going thrifting and finding one, which would make this DIY even more affordable, you might want to just kind of hold everything out, measure it out, see what size embroidery hoop you're going to want and how long you want your craft sticks to be to make it look like a nice scale. Once I have 8 craft sticks cut to 3.5 inches, I'm going to attach them to my embroidery hoop, making sure to put the first one right along that seam where the open hoop was glued together. This is just going to reinforce that a little bit and make sure that it stays nice and stable for us. My second craft stick is going to go directly across from that. Now, if you are a perfectionist, you might want to measure this out, but I just eyeballed pretty much the whole project, and I think it came out really nicely. After that, we're going to turn our hoop 90 degrees, and we're going to do the same thing, putting one craft stick on top and one on bottom. And then once those 4 are attached, I'm going to go ahead and attach the second embroidery hoop right along the top of my craft sticks. Once that's in place, I'm going to put 1 stick in the middle of each of these, leaving me with 8 altogether. Next, I need 8 more craft sticks cut to 3 3/4 length, and I'm going to make some diagonals all the way around my lampshade, right in the middle of all those pieces that we already glued on there. So I'm going to take it and attach it to the back in a diagonal pattern, all going in the same direction. And lastly, we need 8 craft sticks cut to 3 7/8 inch, and we're going to glue those in the opposite direction on the diagonal. Now, if you're making a shade as small as mine, that means that the curve of the embroidery hoops is pretty severe. So gluing this last piece on, it was a little bit hard to get some of the pieces to lay flat because the curve was so curvy. I don't know, if you're a math person, help me out on that verbiage. But what I did was just put a little bit of extra hot glue to make sure that there was good contact between the craft stick and the hoop, and everything did stay quite nicely after that. Next, I wanted to go ahead and paint my lampshade. I wanted it to be a bit of a stain, but in more of a matte finish. If you want a stain, you can use that, an actual wood stain. However, you do have to be a little more careful about the spots where the hot glue or whatever adhesive you're using is leaking out because they won't stain as well. For that reason, I went ahead and just diluted some chalk paint using about equal amounts chalk paint and water, mixed it together, and brushed it all over the inside and outside of my lampshade. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my lamp that I got from Ikea. Once again, I'm not going to attempt to say it, but this is the one that I used. And I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the box because I need to now fit my lampshade onto my lamp. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lamp on the base, and then I'm ready to make the shade so that it fits onto my lamp to make a really cute modern farmhouse looking lamp. What I decided to do to make sure that it stayed on my lamp is to use this placemat that I got from Walmart. I believe it was about $1.50, and I only used a little bit of it, so I have more to use for future projects. I'm going to place my lampshade onto my placemat. I'm just going to use a piece of chalk to trace around my lampshade. And then it's very easy to rub the chalk off of the side of the shade that got onto my actual lampshade. I'm going to go ahead and cut that circle out. And next I needed to add a little bit of support onto the inside of this top so that it wouldn't be too much weight distributed once I glued it onto my lampshade. So to do that, I just grabbed a little bit of cardboard. I still had the box sitting next to me, so I just used that, cut it out into a little circle, and then I kind of found the middle of my placemat and my piece of cardboard, and I poked a hole large enough for the fixture to fit through. Once I had all these done, it was time to go ahead and assemble the entire top of my lampshade. Now I really love the detailing on the inspiration piece where there were little metal grommets on all the vertical pieces of the lampshade. So I went ahead and used these white thumbtacks. I got these from Dollar Tree and spray painted them white for a project that I did where I made an Ikea hack making a cabinet with a beautiful design on it. I'll be sure to link that down in the description box below, but I did have a ton of these white thumbtacks left over, so I put those at the tops and bottoms of each of the vertical popsicle sticks. Next, I glued my cardboard support onto my placemat, and then I glued all of those onto the top of my lampshade. Next, I placed the light into my lampshade, screwed it onto my lamp stand, and I have this beautiful modern farmhouse looking lampshade that is just so adorable sitting on my cabinet. I just really love it. And my last DIY IKEA hack is using this cute vase that I kind of saw on the way out. It was an impulse purchase, but I loved the shape of it. I had made some candles at Christmas time that just had a gold color blocked look, and I wanted to make this look just like that. Now, it's really hard to put the tape on precisely because of the curvature of the vase. So one trick that I came up with was to use a rubber band. You can place it around your vase and it will stay exactly in place, and this will give you a nice line to use for your painter's tape. So I just taped off the part that I needed to stay clean with the painter's tape. And then I painted everything under it using this gold paint. I did need to do a few coats to make it stick, although I haven't gotten to try it yet, but one of my viewers did say that using Mod Podge makes this go a lot quicker with less coats. So that's something that you can try. I'll definitely be trying it in the future when I do a DIY like this. Once it's dry, I just take the tape off and that's it. I love how this kind of elevated the look of the vase. It was quick and easy, but it looks really custom made for all the colors that are in my home, and I just love it. Okay, I love all of those DIYs, but I have to say that I think those hanging baskets were my favorite. Now, I have some other baskets that I just haven't put up in my home yet that I think I might mix in. I might even go back and get a few more baskets and just go all out on that wall. I don't know, but I love how quick, easy, and beautiful it was. But make sure you head down to the comments and let me know which one was your favorite. So for today's treat, I used some of these little ginger crisps that I got from Ikea. I didn't even get to take a picture of these things before they were cracked open in my household, and I had to like snag some before they were eaten to make this recipe. But I used it to make one of my favorite quick and easy recipes, and I really think you guys are gonna like it, so it's time to eat. So for DIY number 5, we're going to be making a treat using these delicious ginger crisps. So I'm going to start out by just breaking up the cookies so that I have a nice crumble. After that, I'm going to take some butter, mix it together with my crumbs, and I'm just going to put that at the bottom of my baking dish. Now, the directions say to use an 8x8. I didn't have one, so I'm using a bigger one, and that just means that you might need to use more cookies than the recipe indicates and a little more butter so that you have enough to cover the entire bottom of your pan. Next, in a medium mixing bowl, I'm going to mix some cream cheese, some powdered sugar, and this recipe actually calls for peanut butter. I have peanut allergies in my family, so I'm going to be using almond butter, which typically is not my thing, but it tastes delicious in this recipe. You can also use Nutella if you really want to amp up the deliciousness factor in this treat. And then we're just going to go ahead and mix all that together until it's well combined. Once everything is together, I'm going to go ahead and fold in some whipped topping. And then I'm going to place that entire mixture on top of my cookie crumble. You can go ahead and set that in the refrigerator while we do the next step. I'm just going to take some instant pudding mix and mix it with some milk. And I'm going to combine that very well. And then I'm going to once again fold in some whipped topping. Now, once all of this is combined, I'm going to grab out my base again. I'm going to sprinkle some chocolate chips on top if you like a little bit of texture in yours, or you can leave this step out if you'd like. And then I'm going to spread my pudding mixture over in another layer of yumminess. Once that's done, I'm going to take some coarsely crushed cookies and more chocolate chips and just sprinkle them over the top. I'm going to go ahead and cover this with some saran wrap loosely, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. Now, once this is done, you can go ahead and slice it up, and it is so good. This keeps in the refrigerator. It's best eaten about 24 hours from when you made it, but don't worry, guys, it will not last that long. I hope you enjoyed all the DIYs I had for you today. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment below letting me know which one was your favorite and share it with your friends. And I'll see you next time when we repeat it all again.